The Phoenix Suns are officially eliminated from the playoffs after a pretty disappointing game last night where they got blown out on their home floor for the second time in back-to-back years in elimination games, this time by the Nuggets, who ended up winning by 25 points in the end. And honestly, this game would not have been even halfway as close unless for Cam Payne going off for 33 points on crazy efficiency, shooting like 6 or 7 from deep. He was their best player tonight, and clearly when Cam Payne's the best player on the floor for you, you have no chance of winning in a playoff game, and that was the case tonight. Jokic absolutely dismantled the Suns defense the entire game with Jack Landale or Bismack Biyombo on him. They were trying to send doubles, he was getting easy assists. And for this series, Jokic averaged like a 33-point triple-double, a really good efficiency, and I just can't even believe that's possible. Like, I don't even have words for this type of stuff I saw. Like, I know people kind of were hesitant on Jokic coming into the playoffs. Is he this type of performer? Can he really keep up his play on this level? And the dude just averaged a goddamn triple-double in a series, the third time it's ever happened in NBA history, and he's the first player to do it and win their series. The other two being Westbrook in 2017 in his MVP year when he lost in the first round, and LeBron in 2017 in the finals where he lost to the Golden State Warriors. I don't know how you can watch Jokic and not be like, this guy is easily the best player in the league. Clearly is one of the best offensive players that we've ever seen in the league. The way he's able to control the game through his passing, his scoring. He just has such dominance over the entire game when he touches the ball. And I think he's honestly already in the conversation as one of the greatest big men ever. In the offseason, me and my friend on a podcast were looking at the most impactful and just the best peer like offensive centers or offensive big men. So that's like Dirk, guys like that. And I think Jokic is clearly the best offensive center the game has ever seen. His combination of passing and scoring is just unheard of. Plus the efficiency, plus the offensive rebounding, like everything you want from a big he does. He's a 40% three-point shooter, has been absolutely elite from deep in the playoffs every year. Over the last 3 years, he's shooting 50% on wide open threes. Like, guy's just different. For the rest of the Nuggets, I think they played a really solid game. Jamal Murray was really good throughout the whole series. Aaron Gordon didn't have that great of an offensive game most nights, but he was really good defensively, bothering Kevin Durant just the whole series, making Kevin Durant really feel his presence on both ends and just making KD work on the other end. Michael Porter Jr. was okay for the whole series. KCP was really good, I think, especially in the last game where he just went off it to open up. Bruce Brown has clearly shown that he's like an elite six-man of the year, and I hope somehow the Nuggets find a way to bring him back. I don't think it's possible with his contract situation, but if the Nuggets can bring him back, I think he would be a key piece for them. Christian Brown continues to show up as like a really solid rookie who can give you actual rotation minutes in clutch playoff games, which is just like super shocking to say, but he was good. Jeff Green was solid. Like, the Nuggets just had a really good team win over round. I think this whole series just shows like how good this Nuggets team really is. 1 through 7, 1 through 8 even. I think they're a really solid team. And yeah, like, everything I saw confirmed what I thought about the Nuggets coming into this playoffs. It was really funny to me, the amount of just like people being like, oh, the Suns are gonna win. The Suns got Kevin Durant and Booker. When have we ever seen a guy get traded through halfway through the season and win? Most of the time when these super teams get formed through trades, they don't win right away because they have zero role players. Look at the Miami Heat their first year too. They had pretty much no role players around the trio of LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, and they lost in the finals. Of course, Kevin Durant and Booker are on those levels, but like, similar situation. Super teams just don't work well when they're traded through midway through the season, and I don't know why so many people were like, oh yeah, we know there's a precedent of it never working, but like, it's Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is such an elite player, so it shouldn't matter. And like, while I think Kevin Durant is definitely like an all-time great, I don't know where he falls on that like top 20, top 25 list for me, and performances like this series really just like call into question, I think, what he's able to really do at the highest level. I know people are going to throw around, well, whoa, he averaged 29 points on 60% true shooting. That's disingenuous to me. Kevin Durant shot 45% from the field, 22% from deep on 4.5 attempts, turned the ball over 4 times, and only averaged 29 points. For Kevin Durant, an all-time scoring great, that's just not good enough. You can't be the third to the fourth best player on the floor some nights, being Jamal Murray showing up big in a couple of games, like game 1. He just wasn't good, and I do think, honestly, a lot of the blame falls on Kevin Durant. He was atrocious from deep the entire series. His mid-range shot was pretty iffy for most points, where he would go hot for a little bit and then really cold for another little bit. And I think, like, yes, the blame doesn't fall on Kevin Durant. The blame doesn't fall on Devin Booker, who was absolutely nuclear. I know he had a bad closeout game. I know people are being like, oh, Devin Booker doesn't show up in closeout games. Dude was carrying such a ridiculous fucking load through the first 5 games, and he clearly got hurt in game 5 in the second half or second quarter, where he ran into like the announcers table. You could tell he wasn't the same after that. He came back out and missed a couple of open shots where he was hitting them. Despite those 2 poor performances, Devin Booker still averaged like 30 points on 56% from the field and 55% from deep. Like, 55% 80% from deep. This guy did every fucking thing possible to keep the Suns in the series. And if Devin Booker doesn't go off and score, what was it, like 35 points on 80% shooting over the 2-game span, the Suns get swept. Like, genuinely, the Suns get swept without Devin Booker going nuclear, having one of the best playoff performances that I've seen in a really long time. I think people need to, like, chill on the whole, oh, Devin Booker doesn't show up in clutch performances, Devin Booker doesn't do this, because the guy carried such a fucking crazy load for the first 5 games. Like I said, he was gassed by game 6. You could tell Kevin Durant was gassed. Those guys were playing 40 minutes a night, and that's just not sustainable for them in the playoffs, especially with so much more increased physicality that the Suns were playing them with, or that the Nuggets were playing them with. I'm not mad at anyone like that. Yeah, I think DeAndre Ayton definitely deserves a lot of blame. Dude was pretty poor for the entire series, but also, like, the Suns didn't have anyone better. I don't know if that's like a credit to DeAndre Ayton and his performance, or is that more just an indictment on the entire Suns team, especially their big man bench? But like, Jock Landale and Bismack Biyombo are your 2 backup bigs. Jock Landale has been fine in limited minutes. He was okay. You're gonna look at the plus minus. You're gonna see he's a +7, but even then, like, Jokic fucking cooked him. Jokic cooked that boy. Jokic cooked Biyombo. Guy had 14 points in the first quarter alone and just slowed down the scoring. Just like was able to play a pretty easy and chill game and still get a 32-point triple-double. Like, I don't know, man. I'm really excited to see the next matchup for the Nuggets. I'm really excited to see who they end up playing, if it's going to be the Golden State Warriors or the Lakers. I think against the Lakers, it could be really interesting to see how Jokic performs against AD and how the Lakers can perform against such an elite offensive engine. Yeah, the Warriors are a good offensive engine, but they're not on the level of the Nuggets, especially they don't have a player like Nikola Jokic, who I think can really, really just bug the Lakers defense. I'm really excited to see what the conference finals holds for the Nuggets. I hope they make it to the finals. I hope Philadelphia can pull through and make it to the finals. I would love a goddamn Joel Embiid, Jokic matchup in the finals. That's something that I think everyone wants. Crazy if you don't want it. These guys have been linked together for the past 3 years when it comes to the MVP talks, and like, this is when we get to see it. You know, the finals is where you get to see these guys finally compete against each other in this 7-game series and put to rest who's the best big man in the league currently. For me, I think it's Jokic, and it's not even close. Jokic is just what he's able to do on the offensive end separates him and Embiid despite his poor defensive effort. And even then, his defense this series and throughout the entire playoffs, I think, has been really, really good. The Nuggets have been a solid defensive team, so I don't even think he deserves a lot of negative flack for that. Yeah, like, I'm just really impressed with what I've seen in the Nuggets. I was high on them all year. I had them winning this series. I had them making the finals. I had them winning the finals when coming into this playoff. So I really hope my prediction is right, and I'm excited to see what the rest of the